Joining us now is Enyinnaya Abaribe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Jinex.
Good morning, Dr. Abati.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm good.
Good morning, Rufai. I don't have to yell. Yes, we
sorry,
did.
you didn't get the memo.
Yeah, I see.
Sorry, you didn't get the memo.
Shiny
This is the equivalent
yellow
of a coup.
tie. Well, Tundu might say it's mustard. I'm not sure if this is yellow, but we miss Tundu.
I'm sure she's watching.
Yes,
get
she
well
wants to.
soon.
She'll
We
tell
miss
us
you.
what
We
it
love
is.
you. Can't wait to see you back tomorrow.
Well, all right. Good morning to you, viewers. Here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe. In the United States, tributes pouring for former Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld, who died on Wednesday at the age of 88. Rumsfeld served under two presidents and was known as the acerbic architect of the Iraqi War and a master Washington power player. And the death toll in the Miami building collapse has risen to 18, with 147 people still unaccounted for, as search and rescue efforts stretched through a sixth day at the site of the Florida condominium complex. In the United Kingdom, marking what would have been Princess Diana's 60th birthday today, July 1st, the Duke of Cambridge, Prince William, and the Duke of Sussex, Prince Harry, will unveil a statue tribute in honor of the late Princess of Wales in the sunken garden of Kensington Palace. And reactions trail 19-year-old Jack Callahan, who was charged with murder in his father's death. Jack allegedly told the police that he drowned his father because he was possessed by demons and needed to perform an exorcism. In China, the World Health Organization has declared the nation malaria-free after a 70-year effort to eradicate the disease. The country has not reported a new case since 2017. In Slovakia, the hybrid car aircraft, called Air Car, flew between two international airports on Monday, completing its 142nd successful landing. After landing, the aircraft transformed into a sports car in under 3 minutes. In Ireland, a Nigerian migrant, Uremu Adejimi, was elected last week as the mayor of Longford County Council. Uremu made history as the first migrant, first African, and first black woman to become mayor in the country. Under entertainment, after a 4-year hiatus of First Ladies gracing the cover of U.S. Vogue, First Lady Jill Biden is the cover star for the August issue of the fashion magazine, photographed by the iconic Annie Leibovitz. The cover story, titled Dr. Jill Biden, a First Lady for All of Us, takes a look at initiatives the First Lady wants to tackle during her tenure. The magazine is set to hit the newsstands on July 20th. Finally, 83-year-old actor and comedian Bill Cosby's sexual assault conviction was thrown out by Pennsylvania's highest court, and Cosby was released from prison on Wednesday in a stunning reversal of fortunes for the comedian, once known as America's dad. Dr. Abati, well, I guess it's victory at last for Bill Cosby.
I won't put it like that. Yes, his lawyers, the defense team, they've been insisting that he was wrongly convicted when he was convicted in 2018 on a 3-count charge of felony and indecent assault. Since 2014, he had been accused of drugging women, and dozens of women came forward to testify against him. But he was convicted in one particular case. And that was seen as victory for the Me Too movement in America at the time. But now that the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania has freed him, the reactions have been mixed. So naturally, the prosecution, the defense team, they are excited. People who are associated with him, they are excited. Felicia Rashad, his wife in the Cosby Show, had gone out to say, oh, this is victory, this is a good day and all that. America's favorite daddy has now been released. But the reaction to Felicia Rashad has also been just as emotional and as very negative, because they are saying, no, there has been a miscarriage of justice here, because you see that the Supreme Court, he was convicted by a jury, but now the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania has released him on a procedural, on technical grounds. They were saying that there were violations in the trial process. So that's a technical ground. So I think his victory, yes, will make some people happy, has made them happy, but people will think that, in fact, he's guilty and that if he was involved in raping and drugging women, they are not too pleased. They think it's a setback for the Me Too movement in the United States. Hashtag Me Too movement.
Well, let the law take its course, as always. We'll begin What's Trending with reactions to the arrest and extradition of the leader of the Indigenous People of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, who was charged on Monday for alleged treason and terrorism, among others, by the federal government of Nigeria. Senate Minority Leader Enyinnaya Abaribe, who stood in as surety for Kanu when the charges were first preferred against him on Wednesday, called on the federal government to respect the rights of the secessionist leader as enshrined in Section 31 of the Constitution and Article 4 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, while other supporters of Kanu expressed disappointment on social media as his arrest deepened doubts on the secessionist movement's ability to actualize a sovereign Biafran state. While many Nigerians are continuing to share mixed reactions on social media, let's take some reactions real quick. This is from Kevin Odans, who wrote, "The arrest of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu just confirms one thing. The Buhari government has all the resources needed to arrest those behind kidnapping, banditry, and terrorism in Nigeria. They know exactly where they are and how to get them. But like T.Y. Danjuma said, they collude." Another user, Dr. Olufumilayo, wrote, "The federal government has arrested Nnamdi Kanu. All the resources available was deployed to arrest and extradite the man back to Nigeria. So how about the leader of ISWAP? How about Shekau's successor, leading Boko Haram now? When are we going to use all we have to get them? Or is there no need?" That's your question, Rufai.
I mean, we should use all we have to get them. And this has shown that we can actually get them if we want to. And that's why the federal government should do this in the interest of Nigerians. Get the bandits. Go after them. Because when you look at it on the grand scheme of things, they're killing a lot of people in this country. They're hurting people and across large swaths of this country. So they should go ahead and get them. Use every means possible. We see all of these people on television. I mean, Dogo Kideo, what is his name? We see them. So this same intelligence that was used should be deployed at the bandits, because no bandit should come and disrupt the states. And that's why we did ask Sheikh Gumi the other day, where does his loyalty lie? And it was a critical question. Because we can't say, oh, they've been disfavored, they've been hurt, nothing has been done for their social welfare and all of that. A bandit should go ahead and be hurting a lot of people. That's not the way to go. Like, we want peace in every region. Coming back to Nnamdi Kanu, he'll face his trial. Trial is going on. This is a retrial. He'll have his day in court. He'll face his time. And he will look at the possibilities and how that goes. But most importantly, let's ask ourselves critical questions in this country. What led to the agitation that is now palpable in every part of the country? Because you see, in all of this conversation, if we miss the point of what led to this agitation, then 10, 15 years down the line, I hope we don't start having those agitations again.
Right. Now,
and it's the underdevelopment in regions of this country. And it's not only in Igbo land. Even when you go to the north. And that's why you see, when we talk about holding power, I keep asking, what are they doing for the people? With the lots of northerners that have held power in this country, has it bettered the lots of the lives of people in the north? They still live in abject poverty. And when you come to the south, it's every part of the country. So this calls on the government to do what is necessary to develop every part of the country. And that's why people are calling for restructuring. You know why people are calling for restructuring? Because they say, if you can't develop the parts of the country, let us do it ourselves in every region. But it still goes back to that failure.
Well, before you go, Dr. Abad, I just wanted to ask you about Senator Abaribe's concern. If we can pull up this day's newspaper, the lead story there is the federal government mobilizes persecutors against Kanu, considers mass murder charge. I mean, what is your take on that topic, really?
It's not only Senator Enyinnaya Abaribe who is saying that there must be caution, there must be respect for the fundamental human rights of the arrested person, the re-arrested person, Nnamdi Kanu. And it was quoting the African Charter on Human and People's Rights. Some other people have quoted Section 36 of the 1999 Constitution, which deals with the right to fair hearing. So, I mean, under the rules, if you are, an arrested person and you have been arraigned in court, you are entitled to a lawyer. You are entitled to get lawyers of your own. Your offense must be read to you in a language in which you understand, and all the relevant enabling laws, either under the ACJA or the procedures of court, will apply. So those who are saying that his rights must be respected, I don't think they will expect in any case that his rights will be violated. Okay. There are persons who are also saying, out of emotional concern, that he must not die in custody. The law will not deliberately, a court of law will not say, go and kill somebody in custody for extrajudicial purposes. That would be in itself a contradiction. So those are the concerns, but where persons like Senator Abaribe and others are coming from. Second, there are persons who have been saying, well, you have arrested Nnamdi Kanu and others, they are facing a trial. Persons in other parts of the country who are also guilty of impunity must also be arraigned before the court. Well, yes, it's a nice point to make, but the truth of the matter is that, you have arrested me for this offense, but I know one Mr. So in a part of the country who has committed a similar offense. Why are you leaving him alone? And I'm the one you are facing. No, that's no defense in criminal cases. Okay. Now, if you have been arrested, you answer to your charges within the purview of the law. But given the type of country that we have, people make that point so that people can have a sense that there is a deliberate, constructive attempt on the part of government to do justice. The third point, what the state has been able to prove is that if you have been arraigned in court, charges have been preferred against you, then you answer charges against you wherever you may be. The long hands of law under the current international dispensation can track you down. All right. That's a major lesson from this.
All right. We'll have to go on a short break now. And when we come back, What's Trending on the Morning Show will continue. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Morning Show. We're still on What's Trending, still on the topic of the arrest of Nnamdi Kanu. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, has come under fire on social media for first announcing the arrest and extradition of Nnamdi Kanu in Hausa language. Let's take a quick listen before we come back for a discussion.
Na ainihin tunzura al'umma domin suwa ƙasa zagon ƙasa ta hanyar umarni da kafofi na yada labarai da suka hada da talabijin, rediyo da kuma umarni da yana gizo akan wannan domin ganin cewa ainihin an tada zaune tsaye a Najeriya.
Yes, Dr. Abati, this was a major concern on social media. People were circulating this on WhatsApp and asking why would he first announce the arrest in Hausa language before English.
You mean the arrest of Nnamdi Kanu?
Yes.
Well, okay. If that is the case, it's as follows. The lingua franca of Nigeria is the English language.
Yes.
So if a public official elects to speak in a local language, then, of course, Nigerians generally, naturally, would be concerned. The concern, of course, will be sectionalism. They will say the Attorney General, the title of Abubakar Malami here is Attorney General of the Federation.
Of the Federation.
So for him to resort to speaking in a language belonging to a section of the country, then people will say, well, he needs to be reminded that it's not Attorney General of Northern Nigeria, where Hausa is a general language that people can understand. However, this is not the first time this will happen. You will recall that when the president, on one occasion, addressed Nigerians in Hausa language, that's President Buhari, he generated a lot of furore because Nigerians were saying, who was he communicating with? Was it a section of the country or all Nigerians? However, the other point to note is that in Section 55 of the 1999 Constitution, it is stated 3 languages are identified in that constitution. That is the Hausa language, the Igbo language, and the Yoruba language, as languages in which the business of the National Assembly of Nigeria can be conducted. It talks specifically about the National Assembly. That section does not talk about the government, and says when arrangements, proper arrangements have been made thereof. Well, you can interpret that to mean that if you stand up on the floor of the National Assembly and you start speaking Hausa, there should be maybe a translator. So in the instances that Nigerians have complained about with regard to government, there was no translation. You will expect a translation maybe into English, which is the lingua franca. You will expect perhaps a translation into Yoruba and Igbo and maybe all the other 400 languages, dialects that are spoken by the ethnic nationalities in Nigeria to ensure fairness. I think, whatever may have been the situation, I thought at first that maybe he was granting, he first wanted to address Hausa service of the Federal Radio Corporation, or he was conducting an interview. But if it was a press conference on a major national issue, such as the interception of Nnamdi Kanu, I think what has happened there is that people have been given free opportunity to say this is what we talk about. They are being marginalized. Correct. There is sectionalism in the country because clearly, this is untidy. But I hope that the Office of the Attorney General will take this seriously and try to provide an explanation. Because what the people are doing simply is to demand an explanation.
Yes.
Why will you address us as Nigerians in a language that is not the lingua franca and that has not been translated to other languages? Because every other ethnic group, including languages that are even extinct in Nigeria, with just small villages still existing, they claim that their own language also should be spoken.
And should.
Your language, like your own.
Yes, do you know my language?
I mean,
and it's not small, by the way.
Ukwane, right?
Ukwane. Yes, you got that.
I mean, when I saw this, we would like to see their reaction first.
Yes.
We would like to see, and they owe us the right to react to this because people are not happy about this. I want to think, like Dr. Abati said, that it's not what it is. But if it's what it is very sad. It is reprehensible, and nothing of such should be done at a time in a country where we are preaching peace and togetherness.
Well said, Rufai.
In Taraba State alone, there are so many languages. We have over 450 ethnic groups spread across board. Take, for instance, my dialect is different from Dr. Abati's dialect. If he speaks Egba here, I will pick a little. If I speak Ijebu here, he might not get anything as part of it. And we are both Yoruba.
You'll be surprised. My great-grandmother was an Ijebu woman.
Okay. We are both Yoruba. Now say Ondo dialect. Now say even Lagos dialect. So when you now combine all the dialects, take for instance, they pass in Cross River State, that men speak a language, women speak another language, and they're both from the same village.
Very true.
So you must speak something that all Nigerians should be able to listen to.
Well, he proceeded to speak English after that.
And that's why they must react. What was the reason? Maybe when they react, they say, okay, it was based on that. But if it's true that he conducted a national press conference
fast in Hausa,
maybe I will come on Arise TV tomorrow and speak about it.
All right, then we'll take our final story in Eswatini, the country formerly known and still commonly known in English as Swaziland, following reports that the country's monarch, King Mswati the III, had fled the country after a series of protests turned violent, with protesters clashing with security forces. Officials in the country on Tuesday denied the allegations, despite South Africa's public broadcaster, SABC, reporting on Monday that the 53-year-old king fled the country. The protests started last week in the kingdom as young people took to the streets to demand the right to vote and constitutional reforms. The king, who is renowned for his polygamous and largely extravagant lifestyle, despite the country's struggling economy and high poverty rate, has ruled the kingdom for 35 years. Dr. Abati, straight to you on this.
Well, very clearly, the officials in Eswatini, former Swaziland, they've denied the story. They've said it's not true. But you never know. This is a king who ascended the throne at the age of 18. When he took over from his father, King Sobhuza II, he was just 18 years. He was the youngest ruler, monarch in the entire world. But the major concern is that his, fascination with polygamy. He has about 15 wives, 23 children. But he hasn't even reached his father's record. His father had 125 wives. Okay. And his mother was one of the young wives. But the basic problem is the kind of leadership that he has provided. A large family, an extravagant lifestyle, building houses for his wives all over the place, you know, acquiring luxury cars and mansions all over the place. And as a result of this, he runs a country of 1.3 million people. Most of them, they can't even live on $1 per day. Poverty is a very serious problem. So there was a rebellion against him in the past, similar protests as we have now. But then he got over it. He may well survive this time again. But he's the only absolute monarch that is remaining on the surface of Africa. And political parties are banned in Eswatini, and the only countries that support him majorly, South Africa and also Taiwan. He's the last remaining ally of Taiwan in Africa. And, you know, I look at it and I say, well, could there be some external influence in this? I don't want to mention any country's name, but that's the situation at the moment in Eswatini.
Your comment.
Real quickly, Oji, for me is this. He should go back and fix his country.
But they said that he hasn't fled. He's still there. The Prime Minister is saying that he's still there.
But let me flip it.
Okay.
Let me flip it. You see, it's not a big deal for a leader to flee a country. It might be in the interest of the people. And I will say the story of Charles de Gaulle.
Okay.
Charles de Gaulle fought the might of Hitler in the Second World War. Great general. But when people in France in 1968, when they had something called the Soixante Wheat protest, started protesting non-stop for days in France, Charles de Gaulle fled the country. And what did he say that day as a leader? He said, it will not be on my account that any French life is lost. The reason he gave for fleeing the country was that if they had invaded the presidential palace, he knew the presidential guard would have fought back and they would have shot French citizens, and he did not want French citizens to die. That singular act skyrocketed Charles de Gaulle. After that incident, they still respected Charles de Gaulle. And when Charles de Gaulle died, it was said that the president on ground in France then said, France is a widow. France has lost his husband. So when leaders flee sometimes, it might be in the interest of the people, but this man is not fleeing because of that. He's fleeing because he has not done what he ought to do for his people.
But when you think about the protest, just the common right to vote, I mean, is it that difficult to ask?
But you've said it all. He's an absolute monarch. An absolute monarch would deny you of your right to vote because it will stop his own inheritance.
At least one person has died. There have been cases of arson in the central part of the capital. I guess with the kind of system they have in Eswatini, King Mswati the III will still find a way to survive.
Well, that's all I have for you guys.
He commands everything. He owns everything. And he has a stake, personal stake, in the economy of the country. Thank you very much,
I'll see you tomorrow.